We've got JJ in the building. Beautiful backdrop. Tristan, beautiful backdrop. These guys know what they're doing. Okay. Zach is with us as well. Can you guys hear me okay?
Sounds good.
Loud and clear. Fantastic. I'll be driving, but I wanted to make sure I presented you guys not only respectfully, but in the way that you deserve to be presented. Everyone in the chat, invite your friends, tag them in the Discord. If they're not in the Discord, send them the invite link. Make sure that they're in here. These guys deserve more than just a round of applause, right? Take note. There's a lot of value that's going to be shared on this call, and the value is going to be driven by the level of your questions just as much. So have preparation in mind when it comes to your questions and what you're going to be asking these guys, because they're not here to fool around. They're not here to pretend. They're here to tell you what it really is. And what's actually going to help you propel your career forward. As a setter, as a closer, as a manager, as an operator, my hope is you guys take this information and apply it right away. My hope is that you guys go from being these naive 1 to 3K a month sales reps to now 10, 15, 20K a month sales reps. And these guys have the blueprint. So for those who don't know, my name is Bruno. I've got Zach Whipple here as well. We're the co-founders of this community, Harvest. It's a pleasure of ours to bring you guests like this at this caliber in hopes that you guys actually, apply what they teach you and take it to heart. Standard Q&A rules apply for this one, guys. You can raise your hand down below if you have questions for any of these guest speakers. You can also type your question in chat. We do have this call completely recorded, so you can ask about it after. And last but not least, just be respectful, guys. No trolling in the chat. I know it's very tempting to, just mess around in the chat because you're not talking on stage like these guys. But my hope is that we're taking this serious because your career is serious. Your future is serious. There's time for games. There's time to mess around and stuff like that. I'm someone that does it all the time. But in moments like this where you're in Q&A sessions, it's time to lock in. Pay attention. Only way you get better. So without further ado, guys, we got JJ Hernandez in the house. We have Tristan Steckler in the house as well. Max in-house just jumped on stage. Appreciate you for being here, brother, for the support. Let me give these guys kind of a warm welcome into the Harvest community. There's a wide variety of sales reps in here, business owners, operators, marketers, graphic designers, editors, up-and-coming solopreneurs, business brands, all sorts of things. For those who don't know Tristan and JJ, let me give you a quick intro to them. Tristan manages a high-performing sales portfolio that's generated $1 to $2 million in monthly revenue actively. He's a key leader in high-ticket sales since 2023, driving consistent growth and performance as a professional. He's trained and developed over 500 sales reps across multiple different teams and multiple different niches, and he's directly contributed to millions of dollars in closed revenue. JJ, on the other hand, is the founder of Sales.io. He created sales systems and has deployed multiple levels of talent to people like Alex Hermosi at Gym Launch. He managed sales operations for Iman Ghodsi. He's closed over $20 million in revenue, and he's managed over $50 million in sales volume. So guys, give these guys the respect and time that they deserve. Go ahead. Without further ado, Tristan, JJ, could you guys just go one at a time? Just tell the people what they don't know. Give them a little backstory if you want to. And then we'll go right into questions from there.
Sure.
Sounds good. Tristan, go ahead, bro. Take it away, man. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, dude. What's up, everybody? I'm pumped I finally get to do one of these. Me and Bruno have missed each other a couple of times trying to set one of these up. But I'm excited to be here. Been in high ticket, like they said, it'll be 5 years in October. I'm blessed to be able to do this. I love sales, I love psychology, and I love helping people. And if there was one golden nugget that I could pass on to you guys, whether you're in the space, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a closer, you're looking to get into the space. If you're willing to put other people ahead of yourself, you'll go very, very far.
I love it. I love it. Again, Tristan, good to see you, bro. And I know I'll see you in a few days here in Utah. So we'll get that sorted. Good to meet everybody. I mean, again, Bruno, I appreciate you bringing this up here. A big shout out to Taya too, behind the scenes. If you guys know Taya, Taya's behind the scenes of everything. She's amazing. I've been in the space way too long now, almost 10 years. I started selling phones in 2017, started my agency in 2019, worked with Hermosi in 2020, 2021, and the rest is history. And just super excited to be able to give value, guys. I mean, I've done this for so long, and it kind of feels like it never gets boring. And there's always something to learn, something to teach, and something to say. So super excited to be here and privileged to be here with Tristan, man. Tristan and me go way back, and even Max Inhouse, guys. Look at Max Inhouse. This is one of the studs in space, guys. You can't forget this guy. So excited to be here. We're gonna have some fun. I'll give you as much value as possible, and we'll take it away. So
Let's get
Bruno
it.
or I don't know, you guys let me know who moderates it, how it goes, but we'll dive into it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, Josh Klein will join in here on the later half of the Q&A, but typically he'll be the one kind of bringing people up on stage. Guys, raise hands down below for either Tristan or JJ and just address them when you come up. I want to be the first to ask. I'll kind of lay it up for everyone else. For those that are getting into sales, right? Think back to a time when you, Tristan, you, JJ, first started your career. What would you do differently to really propel yourself forward and actually start succeeding at a much faster rate to get you to where you are now? What are some things you would do differently? Some techniques that you would apply now that you've learned it? Either of you can go on that. And if Max has any thoughts too, you can ask after.
I did it at the same time. Tristan, go ahead. You go first. Take it.
Sure. What I would say is a lot of how you view the world is going to be based on your upbringing. Monkey see, monkey do type thing. And so I was talking about this earlier this morning. I grew up in a really difficult home, a lot of chaos. And that led to me not really believing in myself. I actually got to a point where I was 300 pounds, addicted to pornography, crippling social anxiety. No friends, bullied really bad, suicidal, depressed, all these things. And it was a byproduct of me growing up in a home with a dad that was bipolar that played like a big role on how I show up and the identity that I had for the longest time. And even in getting into high ticket, like I ended up losing 100 pounds and that built some confidence in me. But before taking on my first role, even thinking back to like sports, as an example, I played football. Never at any point before games, before, we won a couple championships in my high school, but never one single time throughout that entire 4 years or even 8 years that I played football did I have positive thoughts before games. It was always negative. It was always over analyzing. You're not prepared enough. Worst case scenarios. And that showed up a lot in my sales career early on. A lot of like self-sabotage, a lot of fear of blowing it, fear of messing up, and perfectionism. And I think that really held me back in a lot of ways when it came to like taking risk and trusting myself. So if I could go back, I would want to take bigger risks, say yes to more opportunities, and not prior to making decisions, decide outcomes without just going for it. That would have changed a lot for me.
Beautifully said, Tristan. Beautifully said. I actually know a lot about Tristan's story. And when you guys really get to hear the bulk of it, it's actually, it's just shocking. It's shocking. Sometimes you just even take into consideration that other people are probably going through tough things as well, just like yourself. For most of us, I mean, some of us have an easy life, but some of us we all think that our lives are unique and that we're suffering the most and that no one else can relate to. So, and a big perspective to kind of piggyback onto what Tristan said, a big perspective that I wish I had early on was knowing that the journey is so much longer than what I expected. I think a lot of us will come into communities like this And you might see Max in-house, right? You go check out his Instagram. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. You see Tristan with, 15, 20, 30,000 followers, and you see all the views and the accolades and what they're doing. And you might be like, oh man, like I need to rush to get there. I need to get there so fast. But I mean, if you guys just think about Tristan's story here, where he's been in space 5 years and it took him all this time to get there, right? It took me 7, 8 years to get to where I'm at now. Um, it's a journey. And if I would have known and looked at that perspective earlier on, I would have been a lot more patient and would have made a lot less stupid mistakes trying to just expedite and rush that process. And kind of piggybacking again on what Tristan said, a big thing that I live by, it's never your circumstances that limit you from anything in your life. It's the guilt and shame that you hold that will stop you from anything you want in your life. So you talking bad to yourself, feeling I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not worthy, I'm blah 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 blah, shaming yourself, the negative self-talk, that's what limits you. And I mean it. You can think about it from the deepest depths of perspectives where like, oh, I came from, a bad upbringing, I came from a bad hometown, I came from a small town in this place or that place. It truly doesn't matter. Like it really does not. And what's stopping you isn't that you came from those places. What's stopping you is that you believe that that weight that comes from being from a small town in Idaho or coming from the hood or whatever it is what's limiting you. And you feeling guilty or shameful that I'm not in a better circumstance, I'm not here, I'm not there. That's what limits you every single time. I promise you. You're too afraid to take a step, right? Or maybe you just think you're not good enough and you just won't even take action. Or you do it and then you're just like, oh, I'm not good enough anyway. That battle takes so much more time and energy than what you think. So that's a big line that I can tell you for everybody. It's never ever your circumstances. It's the guilt and shame that you hold on to that will limit you from everything else in your life. So that's pretty much all my perspective. Max, I'll toss it to you, brother, if you have anything else.
No, I mean, I don't want to steal the thunder. And I know my comment in the chat got a lot of laughs, but I'm completely serious. I've never learned sales. I've talked to JJ about this. So, like, I'm not qualified to speak here.
I wanted
I
to
will say,
piggyback on one thing.
yeah, go ahead.
One thing that JJ said, like my life and where I'm at is a byproduct of someone who is confident enough to just pick the phone up and hit record, you know? And like my life has been forever changed by one individual in particular. His name's Richard, but he had a big YouTube channel and he just recorded everything that he was doing. And the false narrative that I bought into was that guys like that who get to levels like that, where he's doing like, seven, eight, 900, $1 million a month in revenue as a 23-year-old at the time, it's because he didn't feel like the same limiting beliefs and fears that I did myself. And it's just not true. And my progress as a sales rep and manager, et cetera, was delayed by 2 or 3 years because I would pick the phone up and I would want to hit record and I would hit record and then I'd say this isn't good enough and I would delete it. Or I would say like, the videos aren't crisp enough. I don't have the right camera. I don't have the mic set up, the lights and everything like that. And it delayed my progress by a lot. So just realize like anyone that you admire online, they don't have it together. Even if they post all the good stuff and all the wins and all the successes, they probably are just as insecure, just as uncertain, just as doubting as you are. They're just willing to step through it anyway and act regardless of how they feel.
Well said. Well said, guys. Thank you. I took a lot of note in that. All right, let's bring some people up. Let's get some people up here. Guys, be very mindful, intentional with your questions as well. Brom, I was literally bringing you up, but then it dropped. Anyway, let's go Hayes first.
Yo, what's up, guys? Nice to meet you. My name's Hayes. I do just have a couple questions. If you guys could please answer them. Very into sales. Been in sales for a little while, and I'm just always constantly looking to advance my knowledge. Right. So, thank you. But my question for you guys is, what objection do most closers think that they're handling well, but actually aren't?
I can jump in here.
Please.
You got the next one first, JJ. I don't think it's like an objection in particular. Like I don't have one that I'm like, oh, every single rep does this wrong, etc.
Yeah.
But I think it's whenever they think that they, like as a sales rep, that they have to follow someone else's knowledge
Mhm.
and someone else's word tracks or someone else's philosophy in order to be successful.
So you're saying build your own is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So take what they're all using, right, and then just kind of adapt into who you are in order to sell better. That makes sense, right? Yeah, no, I completely see what you're saying. Wait, so I also want to ask you, if you had to rebuild your sales ability from scratch, starting day one, right, and you had to start with something first in order to propel yourself to get that much closer to being successful, what would be the first thing that you would learn over again? Whether it be just general sales, a skill in sales, or whether it just be a like general business knowledge, something that do you think would be like the most specific to your success?
Yeah. I would say it's not about you as the rep, it's about the prospect. And if you could just put all the crap that you've seen online or all the crap that your manager shoved down your throat in terms of like how to be prepared for the call, you put all that to the side, you just wipe your memory of all of it, and you just listen to what they were telling you and the answers they were giving you to the questions you were asking, you would do fantastic.
Okay. No, that is definitely valid. Damn. Shit. Well, I'm kind of fresh out of questions. If I brew another one up, I'd say something. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out. That means a lot.
Hey, so I have some feedback for you as well, if you don't mind, before you hop
Yeah,
off.
100%.
So the question you asked about the one objection that closers struggle with, or whatever, the frame of thinking. I just want you to, when you think about that question, I want you to almost like rethink it, because it's never going to be one thing that's unanimous for everybody. Because even
Yeah.
if we give general advice, it wouldn't apply, because a big perspective I can tell you from just working with Hermosi is you're not just selling the product, you're selling the person. And if that's the case, that means that how you approach a lot of these conversations are going to vary depending on the prospect you're speaking to. And to Tristan's point, I agree. It's like, to answer your second question as well, right? It's like if you're more focused on the prospect, genuinely serving that person across the way from you, um, it's going to take you a long way. You'll start to realize how much more your intuition will carry you through some of these calls. And I say that with a grain of salt, because you need to have some type of prior sales knowledge to have like a sales intuition. But I promise you, like handling objections the way you think they should be, like actually handling an objection, it's not like this kung fu, like, oh, I gotta say this, say that, like just to
Yeah.
Tristan's point.
Yeah,
It's
that's
almost
kind
like,
of like,
go ahead.
no, that's kind of like what I was maybe I worded the question wrong. I meant like not exactly along those lines. Within like maybe a specific objection, I guess I'd say. But I feel like there is like to your point, I feel like there is this type of notion that there should be some kung fu handling when it comes to
Yeah.
handling objections. And you're right. I mean, like it is about understanding the prospect. I completely see what you're saying. And it does make a lot of sense, right? Because if you care about the prospect 100%, right? Like if you cared about your friend 100% and they were crying or they're upset, I mean, the words kind of come to you, right? It comes pretty easy to cheer somebody up, right? So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just is, that's just is. I always just, whenever I hear someone ask like, what's this thing? That's one thing like I almost use to like leverage whatever, fix this one, process in my process to improve XYZ. Like, it's almost just thinking about it in a different way. It's why are these objections popping up? And I almost would ask you, Hayes, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but like, is there one that you are struggling with right now that you feel
No, no,
like is
not specifically. No, I just
okay?
wanted to see if there was like a common like misconception of certain objections that you guys would say are handled incorrectly than compared to somebody who's done so much sales that would maybe know the different answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then I'll share just two more things with you. One is a different perspective of objections as well. Is a big concept, which I'm pretty sure some of you heard this before. Have you ever read Neuroselling by Jeff Bloomfield? Humans make decisions based on emotions and they compensate logically. So the way you think about objections or like any type of resistance after you pitch and try to close, you think about like I mean, not everybody has contracts and agreements on their on their offers. But if you did, right, you think about like you sign the paper with emotions and then you justify the decision with logic. That's how you want to look at it. It's almost like the decision was already made emotionally, and then logically they're compensating, justifying it when they're actually looking for justification when they're asking those random questions at the end, like how does onboarding work? How does this work? It's like it's not resistance, it's just justification for the decision to make sure they're making the right decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you take that perspective and you stop feeling resistance in the close, it starts to feel a lot easier. And then the environment of the entire objection stage and the close stage feels like lighter, which makes them feel lighter. Because then your intention's more positive. It feels like you're still trying to help them. You're like, okay, they're looking for justification. There's a reason behind this. And not just like, oh man, they're gonna fucking try to back out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes 100% sense. I mean, you say it so clearly. You know what I mean? It's just like it's off the top of
Yeah, I
the
kind of like a different perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And then
100%.
I'll give you one more thing, Hayes, just because Tristan made me think about this. I agree with him so much at the point of like just like truly being present with the prospect. But I think beyond that, if we had to look at a foundational perspective from both of us, uh, it's the vessel that we are as closers that we've improved to then be able to be like, okay, cool, I can actually be present with this person and not be in my head about like, do I sound good? Do I look good? Does the background look good? And I'm thinking about all these different random fucking bullshit things. But we've improved ourselves as the vessel where it's like we have no neediness. There's no attachment. And people are like, oh, how can I be detached but still want the sale? It's a contradiction. And trust me, I've got founders who are doing like 700K a month who still struggle with this. They're like, they don't even need the money, but like, I want to help them. I want to close the deal. I want to show them that this is the best thing ever. But again, that comes from the vessel of who you are, right? You got to think about it like that. So,
Yeah.
if you want more context on that, let me know. I don't want to overdo
No,
it here and go on.
I completely understand what you're saying. You make it very clear. Genuinely, you do. One last question. Um, where was the moment in your life during your sales journey where you said to yourself, "Wow, it just clicks." Right? Was there a moment? Was there a turning point that was like, "Damn, you know what? After this one call that I just had, I now fully kind of just understand it so much better than I did." Was there like an aha moment?
I'd be curious to see Tristan's answer on this too, but I'll keep this one brief. I don't think there wasn't like a moment where like I don't know if you guys ever thought about this. When you guys are entrepreneurs, where like there's gonna be this moment where you close this big deal and it's like raining outside and you like fall on your knees and like I fucking did it. Like everybody fucking dreams about that, which ironically a good segue for that, a good lesson, which I'll keep it just really short. It's like humans think in narratives, and we're always trying to look at this like story that we're trying to live into. So I'll break that down a little bit further if we have time for it. But essentially, it wasn't an exact moment. But when I was at Iman's team, I noticed that whenever I had downtime, all I would do is call my friends, and I would be like, I would talk shit about like the prospects, or I would say like, today was a shit day, and I would do these things, and then it started to feel very unfulfilling. I really enjoyed when I was on calls, but I really did not enjoy when I was on the phone, thinking that was what I was supposed to be doing. And like I'm sure everybody here, like they call their friends in between and talk about, oh, this fucking prospect sucked and how this is bad and how whatever. And I just started turning off my phone throughout the day. Like for 12 hours a day, I would just turn off my phone. Like I just wouldn't be on Instagram. I used to be a bodybuilder, and I would do cardio for an hour, just in silence, and I would just walk and just walk and just walk. Kind of like some stoicism shit, like just like close your mind out to everything else and just silence. And that changed me a lot. It changed me a lot from like this attachment to one like dopamine of like my phone and like calling people and like validation, needing validation to tell them, like, oh, this was shit. And they're like, oh no, but you're a good closer, bro. It's all good. Like, so it kind of got me with unintentionally. I didn't even know I was doing that, to be honest with you. It was just a coincidence. But I wouldn't say it wasn't like this one moment. It was just a matter of like, I did that for about a month, 2 months. And I literally just like stopped talking to all my, I just stopped talking. It was like the craziest thing. I couldn't even tell you why I did. I just felt uncomfortable internally. I was like, I don't like this life. I just stopped everything. So and it's a little extreme. I don't recommend that for everybody. I don't know if Tristan has something a little more practical and something a little more real, but like, I just literally went cold on everything and everyone.
No, that does make sense. I've heard that same type of like how do I explain, like same process through like really good entrepreneurs that are out there. I've heard them do like, very similar things to exactly what you just said, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to cut off the dopamine. Sometimes you have to cut those external factors out in order to then achieve a greater, higher good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually do have a moment. The first offer that I was closing full time for was actually an offer that I joined the coaching program for. So like I got sold the start your own business online with zero experience narrative right out of college. And some people would say like that's kind of a scam, but I would argue that the 50 grand I spent on a college education to get a piece of paper that could not get me a job to save my life was a bigger scam. So anyway, like I graduated, I can't get a job, COVID's going on, and a buddy of mine told me about this online coach, so I invested into it. It took all my life savings, and no one told me about the fact that I would have to learn marketing, sales, setting, fulfillment, content, all of it. And I failed. Like I was like, okay. Some people would say I wasn't a failure because I didn't quit, but it didn't pan out the way that I thought it would. And so that same company gave me a role. Like they were hiring, they hired me because I'd gone through the product and I'd shared some wins, right? And from the jump, I did very well with it early on. Some people would say, very well, but that's awesome. You must have been really good at sales. But to go into more detail, this offer was like purely YouTube organic leads coming on every single call. Because he had like 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. He had done all the work of multiple years of content and vlogs and super personal, charismatic. Everyone wanted to be him, right? And so this is my first account. So I'm taking calls, every single person getting on the call with me has their credit card ready to go. In fact, it was only 4 sales reps. I was one of 4. My sales manager had no framework for how to handle objections. It was a script, like copy and paste script. Everyone said the exact same thing, word for word, top down on every call. And if they didn't have the full amount, what he taught us was like, if they don't have the full 8 grand, take whatever they have left. So if it was like, I only have 5 grand, I just make a payment plan, they'd pay, they'd move forward onto the next call. And we were stacked, like 6, 7, 8 calls every single day. I took calls through Saturday. And so anytime anyone would have any kind of like concerns or hesitation, I would just say, well, dude, I joined the program. I made $8,000 in my first month. Changed my life. Now you'd have some prospects that would be like, wait, so you joined the program and now you take calls for this? Like, how does that work? And I would just kind of like finesse it. But anyway, I ran that for 5 or 6 months where I was top rep. I'm like, man, God he just blessed me with this innate ability to close at this crazy percentage. I'm so good at this. And without relaying this to the team, what the business owner decided to do was change our entire lead gen strategy from purely organic with YouTube to paid ads. And he didn't tell anybody about it. And so I went from, cash collecting 40, 50 grand a week, every week with the highest close rates, high show rates, etc., to 1 week in which I think I had like 15 or 16 calls, and every single call ended in a, got to do more research. I don't even know what this guy's name is. Put it into an email. I got to think about it, got to pray about it, talk to my partner, etc. And I never heard any of those objections before, maybe like here and there, but for the most part, not at that frequency. And so I went day after day after day after day. And I was telling you guys earlier about like performance anxiety and always thinking the worst. Like most reps with confidence would think, okay, well, it's just a bad week. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in myself. Like I'll get back on the horse next week. Everything will be fine. My brain's going to worst case scenarios. I'm like, dude, they're going to fire me. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know how to handle these objections. I'm going to my sales manager. I'm asking him for scripts, frameworks, call reviews, etc. He can't give me anything. He was kind of like that, the glorified like Stripe refresher, where he would just sit there and refresh Stripe, the payment processor, all day, every day. And he would like, celebrate with the team when deals would close, but there was no real support or feedback. And so I came to him after 4 or 5 days straight of getting my rear end kicked on every single one of my calls. And I was like, dude, what do I do? Like, help me out. If you guys have ever heard the phrase coffee is for closers, That comes from a movie. So he showed me that movie on our huddle. Like, he's like, dude, like, watch this trailer, this movie. It's like, it's amazing. That's all he had for me. And then he put me into a group chat with a sales trainer who charged me $3,000 for coaching. Now, why do I tell you that? Because I binged the training. And this was back in the day where you didn't get one-on-one support. You didn't get an offer. You didn't get one-on-one calls. You didn't get coaching calls. It was a course, dude. $3,000. Go through the course. And it was like 10 modules. And I just paid it because I was like, I don't really have a choice. I got to figure this out. No one's going to come and save me. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's all on me. And I went through all the material over the weekend. I learned all the frameworks. The main takeaway that I had from the training was being fully present, listening, and asking piercing questions, which was anytime I heard a word that they were using that meant something different person to person, it was vague, to try and unpack it and get clarity around what the word meant to them. So as an example, like stressed, frustrated, worried, whatever. That changed the game for me. The next week, I had the highest close rate and the highest cash collected that I'd ever had the entire time I'd been with the company prior. And so what I learned in that moment was not just like sales. I learned that I could invest into outside help that would support me, where I could collapse time and make a tremendous amount of progress in a very short period of time. And it would lead to an immediate return on the leaderboard, my commissions, and my progress. So that's what I learned in that moment. That's what changed the game for me. I never looked back. I've invested a lot of money in sales training. And that's what's propelled me to this position where I have all this knowledge and expertise in such a short period of time.
That's straight sauce. That's like actually straight sauce. That's crazy, man. That's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Hayes, thank you, brother.
Oh, I think we're glitching out. Appreciate you, Hayes. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and go with Brahm and then Abraz. And just respecting time, one question each moving forward.
Yo, bro, I've been seeing your content. It's so fire. Ever since I got into like the coaching space, sales space, you see so many different creators that are, I mean, not to name names, some that are coaching that haven't even closed, right? And you can just tell as soon as you see your content, you actually know sales. You know the psychology behind sales. You're not just following some BS script. So just everyone here, if you have sales questions, bro, like actually ask it. He's not going to tell you to follow a script on, pain, desire, consequence. He's actually going to tell you how to close, which is fire. I love that. But my real question is more on the management side, because that's what I do now. So I've recently transitioned to managing like just bigger teams. I don't like working with the little 40K a month little fish anymore, right? So what do you do on the side of like automations and stuff? Because for me, I'm really hands-on with all my reps. I'll sit there, I'll hop on calls with you, I'll do the call reviews, and my reps love that. They love how much I help them on a personal level and how much I care about them. But I also care about my time and my scalability as a sales agency. So what do you do on the side of like, automating your agency more and more so that like the daily admin tasks are just quicker? Those for both of you. I know both of you are really big dogs in the space. Sorry, I just like Glaze and Tristan. I didn't even mention you. My bad.
You're good. I learned this. I forgot who coined this phrase in my life. I start to realize that people kind of just like try and coin terms that everyone uses, but they'll act like it originated from them. But I delegate what I don't enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So as an example, like, in this agency that I'm partnered with, that I've been with for a while, we have people who are at the same caliber of skill that I am when it comes to training reps and working with people, like that A player quality in every area of our agency. So if it's marketing, if it's back-end operations, if it's build outs for CRMs, I mean, we have geniuses in every area that support me. And I also realized early on in my like fractional sales management career that when I tried to be Hercules or Superman and do everything on my own, it would make it incredibly difficult for me to deliver a quality result. Because at the highest level, it's impossible to do it on your own.
Sweet. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'll let anyone else ask a question.
Let's go. Appreciate you, Bram. JJ, did you have any thoughts on that?
No, it's great feedback. I mean, for sake of time, Bram, I would like to know like what it is that you want to automate exactly. I mean, because there's a few things. Like, I mean, if you just want to go like very simple, like admin tasks. Like, I have a lot of AI looms that I could just send you after, if you wanted to.
Fire. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
right now, like I built my own sales management software for like all the forms, the data tracking with like Calendly APIs, Fathom APIs, like all that. But it just, I know there's something I can do because I think about it and I'm like, if 4 more clients doing 300K a month were like, yo, we want you to manage our team and do everything you're doing for this client, I would be like, I'd be a deer in headlights. I don't know how I could take on 4 clients at this scale. And so I think that's what
Okay.
most
I just had to make a joke, but like just for sake of time, what is it that you're struggling with? Like, is it just like operations, just day-to-day operations, like building out like a funnel? Like, are you doing that at that extent? Like, what are you doing?
Right now I do full team management and then I do like I handle the disputes, I handle like content advising. So technically I'm not a growth op, I'm a sales manager, right? So I don't have to build the funnels or anything, but all the back-end automation systems, GHL,
Okay.
all the softwares we use, I have to
For sure.
basically build
So,
out.
I mean, again, I don't want to, sound like a broken record, but I think it's true what Tristan says. But I think one of the biggest skill sets that you can learn beyond just sales management is how to hire very well. Like the first person I hired on my team was an operations guy, and he became my COO. Like he just did everything, and he just crushed it. So like when I was like running Ashton Hall's team, and this guy fucking bringing in so many fucking leads, like I didn't do anything. Literally, I had the easiest life. I just did what I did best at, and I
Yeah.
loved my life. I mean, it's tough for those guys, but that's one thing that I've learned, right? I mean, dude, I paid $100,000 for my domain name. You understand that? Like, it's like I'm not afraid to put money out to make more money back. You see what I'm saying? It's
I
like
like that a lot.
if
100
you're
grand
holding
for a
on
domain.
money because you think that, oh, I want to do it myself to be able to save margin or whatever. Like I literally understood last year that I wasn't going to be a profitable year. I made millions of dollars, but I knew I was like, it's probably not going to be that much as you think, And so, but I did that intentionally because I'm playing the long game. You see the difference? So like, if you're concerned about the next 4 clients and how you're going to handle that, it's just like the simplest thing is like, who would you need to hire in order to replace that and succeed?
That makes sense.
And that's what I talked about the journey earlier, right? If we're too attached to the money and too attached to these things, you'll realize like it's not going to get you as far as you think. And you'll stay stuck by that. So, but then that comes down to the question of like who you're going to hire and what you're going to do. And so,
no, I think that makes sense because I have someone to do it. I think it was this client I took on. I initially was like, okay, I'm going to bring growth ops with me to do all of that, and then he ended up firing the growth ops, right? And then he was like, I'm not increasing your commissions, and he's like, you don't have to do any of the system stuff, but I'm not hiring another growth op, and he's so firm on that. And so I'm like, well, if I want to make more money here, I have to do some of that work. And so I'm kind of working for more than I'm getting paid, but I'm getting paid a good amount, so it's worth it. But yeah, I think that it was more so just for the future, like when I hire new clients, just like have the right team. And I guess now reflecting, it's like, okay, I should ask for a higher percent and say I'm bringing a team with me so that they're not even fireable. They're like, it's my team.
exactly.
And that
But
makes
I'll also
sense.
tell you something, Graham. I'll tell you exactly like a little challenge in your belief there, right? It's like you feel like you're getting paid more, but it's a good amount, so it's worth it. So like it's like you're compensating, your actions and your value. Like I can say the same thing to you, bro. And I remember last year I got paid 15 grand for 3 months of work, and I got paid last month 15 grand for 3 calls. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like I could say the same thing. Oh, getting paid enough, but it's like that perspective alone is where, like, I can promise you guys, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, like genuinely, like so seriously. I couldn't emphasize this anymore. I would say their name if I could to let you know like how serious I am about this. I have turned down ungodly amounts of money to protect my mental, just to be like to have my mental bandwidth, because I just knew it was gonna be a headache of a fucking client, or like I just knew like I genuinely could
I love
not
that.
give my full service to this person, right? Because that's one thing you have to realize when you're a sales agency, they're paying 100% of the price for 25% of your attention, unless you have great systems. It should feel like it's 100% of your attention. That's the
Yeah.
discrepancy, right? And as all of us sales guys in here, Tristan, I'm sure you know, Chuck, you work with like a content agency and you get like 10% of their fucking attention for 100% of their price, you know? So it's like, if you can be the difference,
Mhm.
you'll make money for the rest of your life. So
I like
I'm
that a
telling you,
lot.
like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
think about that going forward. So like the money, it's so subjective. It's so subjective. So, but I don't want to go, I can go on all day with this, Bram.
No,
I don't have a hard
no.
stop, by the way, Bro. So if you guys want to keep going after, I'm good for it. I don't know if you are interested.
Wait. Do you got an Instagram, JJ?
Yeah, just I'll send it here somewhere.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, someone.
I'm about to
I'll
get
sit in.
piffed like 30K or something. Because I know I'd love to talk, bro. Real shit. You
Yeah,
know?
chat,
we'll have staff drop their socials in the chat. Brom, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, let's go Abraz, then Dylan.
Hey guys, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys, and thank Bruno and Zach for this opportunity. So my question was, I'm transitioning from door to door, which I did for like the past 4 years, into high ticket, and I've been doing high ticket for like the past 6 months, and like I've been trying to like land offers, like applying for offers and trying to get interviews, and I got some, but like I automatically get like DQ'd from like a lot of offers that I really want to get into because I don't have like 1 million or 2 million cash collected or 1 or 2 years of sales experience. So how would you suggest like I go about that to land those offers?
I want to hear JJ's answer to this question.
So what's your name, by the way? Abraz? Is it Abraz?
Abraz.
Abraz, good to meet you, brother. So number one, just so I have the context, you're getting through, like, your looms are sending, you're getting through the looms and like they're good, they're approving your looms, and then you get to the interview and you're not landing them, or are you not getting through with your loom? Like, let me know like where your breaking point is.
It's the interviews. So I get the interviews and then they tell me they'll call me back or they let me know and then I don't hear from them sooner or later. Yeah.
Okay. But did you land the interviews with some of these $1 million a month roles, or the roles that you want to get onto?
I landed like one of like a big role would be so far like Jordan Welch. So I landed his interview with like his sales manager. But I didn't get like any offer back or like hear from them later on. So I did
Yeah.
land interviews, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, that's good. I think I can tell you transparently, right? If you're getting past the loom stage, right? Because I've hired for companies doing 2 million a month, right? And if you get past the loom stage, there's some good there. Like, we're seeing some good, and to be honest, you probably have enough to get by. But what's happening is on the interview, it's like if you like, I think you're making this assumption that you, just because you don't have this experience, that you can't get into the roles. I can guarantee you probably can. I got into Gym Launch without being on any closing offers prior or anything. I had my agency, but I was never a traditional closer, right? So it's not so much about like, oh, I have to have millions of dollars cash collected, I need to have all this experience. A big perspective I can give you, and this is in sales, this is in interviews, this is in life, it's better to be more memorable than it is persuasive. And if you can do that, like, I'm not even joking, a big thing I used to when I used to hire at Imans, we would always bring on people who had like the most unique looms. So there's one guy, he works at acquisition.com right now, his name is Oz Denez. I'm not even joking, his real name, Oz Denez Kayun. You could look him up. Amazing guy. We had him draw a whale to get inside of Iman's, and like, you have to show your whale and be, hey, this is my whale, and then you talk, right? He showed that. He's like, you wanted a fucking whale? I am the whale. And he jumped in the fucking lake at like the middle of the night in Ireland. It was like ridiculous. But that was memorable versus persuasive, right? It's not like he was like, oh, I'm the best closer who's done da 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 da. It stood out to us. And then we brought him in, and on the interview, he backed up with, again, not just being a good culture fit and being a good, like, what I call this, like a charisma closer. He actually had some skill behind what he was doing. And so I will tell you, in short, to close on this tangent, is you're probably struggling a little bit during the interview stage. You're probably not executing as well in the interview stage as well as you were doing on your loom. Your loom's probably decent. It's probably a decent structure. It's good enough for them to bring you in and consider talking to you. But in the interview stage, you're probably either lacking. I mean, to be honest, this is what most mediocre sales managers hire with is look and feel. So how you look and how you make them feel during the conversation. But then you have like a sales manager like Tristan. He has specific strengths that he's looking for and weaknesses that he's willing to tolerate. And so for those higher level offers where you're doing like $1 million a month, $2 million a month, they're looking for something specific. And that's on you to figure that out. Right. And so what I would tell you is audit your interviews. If you don't have those recordings, you probably don't. It's understanding, am I coming in a little too high or too low? I think about it like a pendulum, right? Are you coming in like with this high fake status where like I'm this intense guy, but it feels like you're posturing, where like it's almost like it smells like insecurity almost, but you're trying so hard to be like, I'm this fucking badass closer, you're flexing your sales muscles? Or are you coming in a little too soft where you're losing the frame of the conversation? I mean, it's a fucking interview. You're not supposed to own the frame all the time, but are you just too weak, too soft for like, nah, dude, like we don't want this guy. Like if you're not in the stage of neutrality and composed, they're gonna make some judgments based on the character they have. They're like, I can't trust this guy to take my leads. And I'll never forget. That's what the hiring manager at Gym Launch told me. He's like, all I need to know is that I can trust giving you some leads and not looking like an idiot out there. If you burn the leads, that's on me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, but like that's the best thing I can tell you. And so for you, Abraz, take some perspective from what I said. Maybe it's not something specific, or maybe there is. Maybe there's something that stands out. Like, hey, that's exactly what it is. I'm coming in too soft, or I'm coming in a little too intense. But I can promise you, you're losing in the interview stage, not because of your lack of experience, but because you're probably not backing up what they saw in the loom to feel confident as they did when they like what they basically just like when you make a sale, what they expected to happen versus what they saw is broken, right? Does that make sense? So it's like if they said the sale is going to be like this, the program is going to be like this, and what they expected and what they see inside the program is totally broken. What they expected to see on the loom, what they saw in the interview was broken. They're going to be like, I don't want to work with this guy. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean by that, bros?
100%. Yeah, I feel like it's the nerves as well, like when you're in an interview, whereas in the loom, I get like 50 tries for that one perfect loom I sent out, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it. And then I would just tell you, like, if you're nervous on the interview, like, why? Are you just attached to trying to, I need this job. I need, and it probably is, right? You're trying to transition from door to door to high ticket, and you probably haven't done, the best that you probably could right now, and you feel like you're moving a little slowly. I get it. But it's the journey of Braz. Like, if it means that you have to do 200 more, would you give up? That's the question. Then you shouldn't be doing this. And that's the truth. Like, I'm not saying that like I'm in a rough way, a tough way, but like, trust me, dude, like I tried 7 years to try to make like 30K a month. And then I got to like 40 and I quit the job to jump in and start teaching sales. Like, I'm not even joking. I was like, made for most I ever made. And when I lost, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking teach sales. It's like it almost made no sense, but I was like, I think it was time for me. That's what I did. Right. But that was the journey. Like, imagine if at 4 years in, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna fucking do this. It's just the journey, bros. I promise you. Like, if you can be more patient with that, this wouldn't even be a worry to you. Promise you.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, JJ.
Appreciate you, bro. Tristan, did you have any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I can add like a piece of feedback just from all the hires that I've made is I'm not always going to go with the guy who looks the best on paper. So all the limiting beliefs that you may have or not have around like cash collected and close rates and experience, quote unquote. That's not the first thing that I'm looking for. Obviously, the bigger the account, the more heavily I'm going to rely on referrals from internal reps who are already on the team. When someone who's closing at a high level can vouch for you, obviously that's a no-brainer. But what I'm looking for in the hiring process from someone who's not internal is persistence and humility. Those are going to be the two that I will like. If you're persistent, dude, I had one guy, I will never forget him. His name is Francesco. Thick Italian accent, super thick. To the point where like the first loom that I listened to from him was almost like I couldn't even distinguish what he was trying to tell me. But the dude was aggressive with follow-up. Not in a like, give me what's mine mentality, but in a like polite, gentle nudge consistently. Like I'm talking every other day, this guy's piling at the top of my inbox. Um, and he just stayed on top of me. And I ended up giving him a job, and he became our top closer. And he's made a lot of money since that point. But he was just relentless. And you have to think of it as like they're just giving me objections. When they don't hire me, there's a concern that they had that led them away from me, and how can I prove them wrong, and how can I overcome that? And it's going to be through your attitude, your humility, and your persistence. Don't give up.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, Obraz. I misread the order of people up here, so I'm gonna have Edgar go first, and then Dylan. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, well, it's an honor to be here. Nice to see you, JJ, again. Nice to meet you, Tristan. One thing I love about sales is that it's all about perspective, right? And mindset. And hearing your story, Tristan, hearing it for the first time more in depth, it's really eye-opening. Everyone goes through a lot, and you guys are really successful. You guys are on the top. I could glaze all day. But one of the questions I have that really sits with me as someone who's kind of going through it as well is when everyone's goal here is to make money, right? Everyone's here to collect money, but no one talks about the person that you need to become in order to reach those levels, right? And you guys have accomplished a lot of amazing things in your careers. And I just wanted to know, like, what did you guys do in order to become that person, right? Because it kind of opened my eyes, especially you, Tristan, when you were talking about your story and about the things that you've been through and rough childhood. Um, um, Hopefully I'm not assuming, right? But it's very similar to in my case, right? But like, what did you guys do in order to become that person where you guys are at, right? And that was just one of those thoughts that I have for JJ and for Tristan.
I've been going first way too much, JJ. I want to hear you go first.
I thought the question was more for you than anything, but I'll share some perspective. Yeah. So essentially, Edgar, it's just like, are you asking, like, who did I have to become in order to get to this point? Is that what you're just essentially saying? Is that really it?
Yeah.
Or like I guess what I went through. To be honest, man, I think the only thing that got me here was two things. I'm choosing my words wisely, but I'll say this: being dumb enough to take risks. And I say dumb in the nicest way because you just didn't think. Like, trust me, when I did not think, I was just like, I'm just gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And then fail so fucking much that life starts to feel easy. Like, I can tell you guys, I probably fail every day. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't even think today was a great day for me in terms of like execution at like a high level. I felt like I could have done so much better. I literally moved into this space. It's empty in here. There's lights and then there's nothing else. And I feel like all I did today was move in here, and I had like 3 calls, collected some cash, and it was cool, right? I was like, whatever. But and that's just not being super specific, but if you can take that risk, like whatever it may be, whether it's jumping in a high ticket, whether it's switching the role, whether it's leaving the friend group, whatever it may be, whatever it is. I don't know who said this. I heard this somewhere, but it's like life will never get easier. You just get wiser from your failures and your mistakes, and that's really all it truly is. Like, truthfully, and that's the beauty about it. I think, like, and that's actually something I learned from one of my mentors. He worked with Elon Musk, and it's like an anti-fragility system where, like, you expect failure now. If you expect failure, you celebrate failure, and then you just cycle it. You have iterations through your failures to get closer and closer to your goals. So that way you're not anticipating just success, and you fail and it hurts so badly. It's almost like we anticipate the failure, it happens inevitably, and then we cycle back to success. For sure, by all means. But also, to Hakeem's point, at the end of the day, I mean, again, everybody has their own religious beliefs, but I do say, like, put God first by all means. Trust me, last year was not the guy I am today. But I can tell you transparently, like, no matter what you guys believe in, you should believe in something. I can tell you that transparently. I mean, having that spiritual connection gets you a lot further in life too. You start creating your own values and your beliefs and your perspectives. That's what drives your life every single time. If you think about it, guys, like the whole reason I even took a risk to buy sales.io anyway was because it aligned with my values and my long-term vision of what I thought I believed and saw. Then having a kid, I had a kid a month ago. If you asked me last year at this time, hey, you're gonna have a kid anytime soon, I'd be absolutely not. Right. But as I grew into faith and we got closer to God, and I found out I was having a kid. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, guys. I've said this on a podcast before, and I'll say it here. If I would have had or found out I was having a kid 2 weeks earlier last year, when I found out, I probably would have aborted the kid because I wanted to build my company and scale it. I was like, I'll be 30 years old. But when I did come to faith, I'll tell you guys, like, transparently, like, and I'm not trying to push God onto anybody here, but it was a big shift for me and allowed me to have my perspectives now where I did commit to having a child. So it's the best gift ever, guys. I'm a little older. I'd say I'm 27. I'm a little unk status here, but if you guys are thinking about it, have one. I promise you it'll save you. Hermosi had one too. So any of you guys, oh, kid life's not for me. Fucking Hermosi had a kid too, man. So no more bullshit. Tristan, over to you, man.
What I would say is, I actually heard this quote from Hermosi. I don't know if it's his quote, but he says it a lot. The way that it goes is that this world belongs to the person who can keep on doing the inputs without seeing the result. And I talked about this earlier when we first got started, but I learned a lot from my father, and I see it on all the calls, whether it's the reps that I'm working with or the calls that we're reviewing, these prospects. It is monkey see, monkey do. The way you view yourself, the way you act, the beliefs that you hold, the actions that you take are oftentimes very aligned with what you saw when you were growing up. And what I saw in my father was a man who took a tremendous amount of risk and carried the burden and responsibility of being the only person paying our bills on a monthly basis. My mom didn't work. And if I could describe my mom, even to this day, in one word, I would say a passenger. She was not around, not emotionally around, not physically around. She's an alcoholic. And so my dad, he was this serial entrepreneur where he never worked like a 9 to 5, but he was working all hours of the day. He did Section 8 real estate. He did Amazon FBA drop shipping, like all kinds of different ventures. But he wasn't successful with any of them. And I'll explain why. And another part of my story was that we had a really old house. It was like over 100 years old. And growing up in that house, like we had all kinds of financial issues with it because we had this sewer line that ran directly under our property that collapsed. And it was just dumping raw sewage into the soil. Like I was super sick. I had like a really serious health scare, probably like 5 years ago. I was rushed to the ER and they had to like, put me on the operating table and cut open my stomach, and my intestines had twisted over themselves and I could have died living in that house. But anyway, back to my dad, the whole monkey see, monkey do tendency. My dad's bipolar. He did not know how to deal with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. He didn't go to alcohol himself, but he had a tremendous amount of rage that he would take out on myself and then my twin brother, who's in the background. To the point where we didn't know how to cope with how chaotic it was. Like he's coming home from work, slamming the doors, throwing printers, throwing the dogs, choking us, screaming, hollering, cussing. There was nowhere that we could turn that felt secure and peaceful. And so to get some sort of like release, that's what I was mentioning, food, pornography, and it warped my image of myself and what I thought was normal. And I mean, to JJ's point, like I always looked at all the jocks in high school or in middle school that got all the girls, and were successful in the sports, etc. And the common denominator that I realized is that they didn't think as much as I did. They just did. Whether it was telling a joke in class or cutting off the teacher or just going for it, they had this confidence about themselves that I never had. I was terrified of being put in the spotlight. I was terrified of failing. I felt like I had to succeed in sports or academics to feel love and feel secure for my own dad. And it showed up in a lot of ways when it came to sales and how I viewed money and success, and feeling like I needed to take so much risk in my life to where I could almost like prove my dad wrong and almost like put it to him because he'd failed so much. And the common denominator with my dad was that when things would get difficult, like you hear all these stories, like Elon Musk is one of the best stories that I've heard about, like being pressed as an entrepreneur and having to make a lot of risky decisions. But it's almost like that breakpoint moment or breakthrough moment in entrepreneurship. I'm sure JJ's gone through it. I've gone through it myself, where it's like you're spread thin. You're kind of at a crossroads. You have to pick a direction, and there's no like guaranteed path, and there's no certainty, and you have to just move. And my dad would always hedge his bets and step off the cliff when things would get really difficult because he had a family. So I just trusted myself and I bet on myself, and I didn't quit, even though it was difficult. Like the first coaching program that I invested $6,000 into, I remember I walked up to my brother's room after spending all the money, and like my bank account was clear. It was like quick, negative red, $6,000 gone. And I was like, dude, I just got off the call I spent all my money on this program. And you would think, you know, brother supportive, et cetera, we shared a womb together, he would be excited for me and like celebrating me. And he called me an idiot. And he told me I got scammed. And I didn't tell my parents about it because I was terrified what they would say. And I was terrified what other people would think. And there were so many times where, dude, just crippling anxiety about the decision that I'd made. Getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning, messaging people all over the world, getting on sales calls. I had no idea what I was doing. And it was just me in my office. Like if I could go back to that moment and sit down with that guy and put my arm around him, of how scared I was and how nobody gave a crap, dude. Everyone who would see a piece of content of mine would screenshot it and send it to each other and make fun of me behind my back to my face. Nobody believed in me. I was in Louisiana. It was just me. And I was just relentless. And when something would break or there was an obstacle in the way, I would just figure it out. And I did not quit. And I think my experience with my upbringing and my experience in being in high ticket and seeing how difficult it can be gave me a tremendous amount of empathy with people, because I see it all day, every single day, where people, they just don't have that in their life. They don't have a good role model. They don't have a good leader. They don't know how to lead themselves. And that's this world nowadays. It's very rare that I meet people who know how to lead themselves well, that are willing to actually take risks. Everybody's focused on instant gratification. Everybody's focused on what can I do right here, right now to move the needle to where I can get what I want now. And it just doesn't work that way. And what I've realized as well, like God positioning me in a place of authority where I've had so much success. I want to be that voice for people who are like standing at the bottom, the base camp of the mountain looking up, to help encourage them to realize like it is possible. Everything that you see that you admire online, that all started at base camp where you're standing right now. And if you're persistent and you don't give up, you can achieve anything that you set for yourself.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm honestly like that's really eye opening, especially too. I struggle with just taking a risk. You know, like it takes guts, 100%. And now that I changed my role from closing to coaching. It's something that I'm going through as well. So it's amazing to see how far you've come, and JJ's as well. Like it's amazing. So I really do appreciate that. That was really helped me a lot, and I'm sure that's definitely helped a lot of people in here. So and I needed to hear that. And one thing too, I'm a believer of God. We have similar stories. It's really heartwarming to see how well you've done, and you guys are at the top. So I'll see you guys there soon. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Hold on, can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Let's go, Dylan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yo, by the way, Tristan, that was an amazing piece of information you just gave us right there. My question is, I didn't want to ask a question about myself. I want maybe some they could take away a little, or everybody in the call could take away from this. What is the one thing that sales reps do that costs them the most sales? Like they just throw aside and it costs them the most sales.
I'll go first, Tristan, if you want. The most common thing that I see, I'll try to narrow it down to one thing. um, It's always so hard to narrow it down to one thing, but I will say the best sales reps, it's going back to what I said at the beginning, will have this delusional forgiveness that, like, hey, this was not my call, whatever it is, I'll review it later and move on to the next one. And they can just go, 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 go. What I see stops most reps every single time. Every single time. And even I'm talking about guys who've been in the space. I had a call with somebody yesterday who's been in the space 3 years, and he's done well over 15K in a month. I've got another guy who's done 25K in a month. And you can look him up. It's Eli Bear. I posted it on my story today. You can ask him yourself. But he would have this redundant belief that there was always something missing after, like, he's like, oh, I didn't close the call because this is missing, or my skill deficiency here. And he would always start to question and judge his own ability. Versus just being like, hey, I can learn from this call, move on to the next one, and continue. So it goes back to that guilt and shame again, that self-judgment. I noticed that's what kills people every single time, over and over and over again. And I'm sure you guys can relate to it when a call doesn't go your way, and then you start attributing your entire value to, like, your commissions or how much you have done or haven't done, or you compare yourself to other people on the team, and it becomes this whirlwind, a cycle where it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. This person's beating me. They're here. This person, you'll look at Tristan's Instagram, like, man, this guy's closed so much more. And you look at Josh Lyon, you look at all these guys, like, oh my God, he's done so much better. How can I ever get there? And that's literally just your own self-judgment and this cycle of guilt and shame again and again and again. So if you can operate, and it's not even about being optimistic, but more or less like, no, and if you guys know, like, laws of consciousness, Dr. David Hawkins, letting go. If you look, I'll send you guys a chart, but you can see it. It's like people operate out of, like, pride, guilt, shame, apathy, fear, anger. But then when you can get above to, like, the highest level where it's like acceptance, willingness, reason, love, and you're operating from those perspectives, you'll see a lot more. So okay, there's a reason why this didn't close versus, like, dude, I'm trash. That's why I didn't close. Right. So, or like if you think about love, where it's like, holy cow, like, or at the highest level, you can always think about this and think about sales as a mirror, right? It is a mirror. So, like, if you didn't showcase the best version of yourself, going back to what Tristan said way early on, where it's like you're just present with the prospect and you show up how you want them to show back to you, then of course you'll see that success. But if not, you won't. And you can never do that when you're holding on to guilt and shame. It's just going to slow you down every single time. So in short, that's really what it is. It's your own self-judgment and thinking that you're simply not good enough, and then bringing that into your calls over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
until you can break that cycle, you'll lose a lot of money just because of that.
I think that ties into a quote: comparison is a thief of joy. Just like always comparing yourself, and just like you're gonna be stuck on a plateau if you just keep thinking, oh wow, they're better, not allowing yourself to grow.
Yeah. It's like reality doesn't matter, but your perception of reality is what matters. Because at the end of the day, like, you could lose a call and just be like, okay, I fucked up, move on. But somebody just like, oh my God, I didn't get the call. And then, like, cry in their bed and ruin their day. And now life sucks forever. And it's just their perception of it. The reality is the same exact thing, but your perception of it is more important than anything else. But what
Yeah.
directly dictates your perception is going to come down to your worldview, which comes down from what you're operating out of. So we're getting meta, but you get my point. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. Tristan, did you have any final words on that?
No, I think that was perfect.
Yeah, JJ, well said, brother. All right, let's go. Zab, then Hakeem, then Tyrese. Everybody else, we're gonna beg these guys for a part 2 because we're at time. But let's be quick on these questions. Thank you.
Was good.
Nice to meet you, Tristan. JJ, how y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? Bruno, thank you. Hakeem,
Always,
everybody
always
else,
good.
what's up? My question was mainly about like more high ticket closing, right? Like I'm 16, I've been closing for a while now, and I feel like a biggest struggle I have is one like bringing big dick energy, but then bringing little dick energy as well, right? Like it's like like too big and too little, and like especially with high level prospect, it's like okay, I'm trying to push back and like challenge all the limiting beliefs, but then at the end of the call, it's like okay, give me some bullshit objection, lie, and then like run away and ghost me, right? So it's like especially when I'm trying to grab those limiting beliefs, it's like I don't know like a good balance of internally where I should be of like okay, I have to challenge this or oh no, I don't want to because he's gonna like fucking give me a whole bunch of resistance. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Well, either one I could go first.
Dude, that's crazy, number one, that you're 16. Okay. But I will give you the best advice I could possibly give you because I experienced this. Two
Yeah.
sides. Okay.
Yeah.
Two sides. Number one, who here knows Yash Gajar from 7th level? Put a one in the
Yeah.
chat.
I know.
Everybody, right? Yeah, of course. We all know Yash. Yash closed me on a 15K program when he was 15, 16 years old with Rob Quinn. And so at the end of the day, did I know he was 15, 16? No, but when he took my credit card, I was like, shit, you're fucking 15, 16 years old? What the fuck? Okay, crazy. I mean, I was 20, so I thought I was some badass motherfucker paying 15 grand for it. And but like I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So number one, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, I worked at Gym Launch, which put a one in the chat if you guys know Jacob Hopkins, acquisition.com. He's like the sales director, big guy, but you know who that is? You know,
Yeah.
Hermosi's neighbor, right? I was there when the 19-year-old motherfucker was ripping fucking 30 grand deals. Okay. It
Mhm.
can be your biggest asset or it could be to your, your detriment. But that's on you. Again, it's reality doesn't matter. It's your perception of reality. If you walk in there and it's like, dude, I'm fucking 16 taking these calls, like I'm the fucking man, then you're the fucking man, right? But if you walk in there and it's like, I'm 16, I'm taking these calls, fuck, right? Then it's gonna be like, all right, like, dude, how
Yeah.
old are you, bro? I've been closing deals since before you were born, right? Like you hear that shit all the time, I guarantee it, right? So what I will say, to give you more practical advice, okay? If you're thinking of frame control, okay, and if you want to own the frame, because I mean Jacob wasn't great and perfect either. He struggled with female prospects. Like if somebody was like a mother, that's what he would struggle with. And I'll give you practical and conceptual. Conceptual is sales is also your response to authority. These type A older motherfuckers, whoever you're
Mhm.
speaking to, that's what you believe in your eyes authority looks like. And so what happens is who you are off your sales calls is who you are on your sales calls. So if you think that's what authority looks like and you're going to respond to a specific way of authority, then you're going to show up that way on and off your calls. That's it. It's inevitable. Right. I don't know if you heard earlier when I talked about the pendulum, where it's like you're talking about this big dick, little dick energy. It's essentially like posturing and faking that like you have the authority, or you're going down, you're kind of collapsing and falling under the pressure of their frame. But at the end of the day, if you understand what frame control truly is and how to own the frame of a conversation, number one, it is actually more comfortable to be in your frame. You never make yourself smaller to make somebody feel bigger ever. And that's what you're probably doing with these type A guys, where like you feel smaller to kind of like give them more space for their ego, or it just happens organically because again, you're fucking 16. That's it probably looks like your pops, probably looks like your uncle, probably looks like your grandpa,
Yeah.
and that's just how your response to authority looks like. But the funny thing is, and not to get too woo here, is like your unconscious mind and your subconscious mind does not understand time. Time is a construct that is very true. So you can choose to be like, it doesn't fucking matter. You might feel these emotions inside, right? Because you're familiar with it, right? Your brain wants to do what's familiar, not what's good for it. And so if you want to just, I'm not just sitting here saying, oh, you're gonna hop on that call and be like, it's never gonna bother me again. No, like physiologically your body will feel those like discomfort, these nerves, and you're like, oh shit. But how you respond to it shouldn't change. It should still stay in this composed neutral space, because the person who needs the sale the most will always lose. So if they need the outcome, they want the program, they need this so much more than you need the sale, or more than you need to prove them that you're an authority just because you're 16, right? Then at the end of the day, it's like you can still win no matter what. And so the reason I said the whole thing about like your perception of your age, it is your biggest asset, dude. Like think about you, it's Zab. That's what you said. That's pronounce your name, Zab.
Yeah, Zab.
I want you to think about it, Zab. You're up here at 16 years old.
Okay.
16. I'm no, fuck, I'm fucking 11 years older than you. Do you understand that? Like, that's ridiculous. And so when you think about that perception, why would that make you any smaller or lesser than? That would make you so much bigger and so much more because you're here at 16 anyway. So it should be that way, but it doesn't have to be this ego. It's just like, I'm here, I'm in control because that's my fucking job. You need to, because if you lose the frame, you're going to lose the sale anyway. So if they don't ever gain the respect or the trust with you, you're never going to win the sale regardless. And so I promise you, if you break that now at 16 years old, by the time before you can even drink a beer, dude, I guarantee you'll be more successful than myself or Tristan. I promise you, at least financially, you will for sure. There's no reason why you wouldn't. So that's what I mean. It's just that small little. So what I would say, if you want some really, really tactical, specific advice, is off of your sales calls, try to be neutral with some of these authority figures. I used to think what authority looks like back when I was afraid of authority. It's probably like up until I was like 25. I thought like a 50, 60-year-old white dude with like a bad hairline and like these kind of glasses was like authority. And I would feel this like this like stress, like this discomfort. And almost like, oh shit, because I remember I'll never forget. I'm not even joking. It goes back so far. Everything stems from, because Tristan said very well, it stems back to when you're like your childhood, right? And so it's like what I was familiar with in terms of authority. I had a hockey coach. I'm fucking Puerto Rican. I shouldn't be playing hockey anyway. I was playing hockey at like 5 years old, and there was this ice hockey coach who just ripped me, bro, for just going the wrong way on the ice rink or some shit like that. And I'll never forget his face. I'll never forget what he looked like. And I was so uncomfortable. I remember being so afraid, right? I was never afraid of like older Spanish dudes or like anyone like who like I was familiar with, that like in my family where I was cool with, and it's fine. But when it came to this one specific avatar, I would get really uncomfortable. And I was like, why? And when it clicked for me, I was like, oh my God. And so the thing is, I'm not even joking. It's as simple as this. It's knowing that when you were a kid, that's what you were afraid of, and that's what authority looked like. But now that you're not an adult yet, but you're 16, dude. Like that shit doesn't control you anymore. That shit doesn't lead you anymore. And that goes for everything in your life. Like it could be like you could have a bad experience when you're like 7 years old, like somebody made fun of you, or the girl didn't date you, or your girl cheated, and then you still have this like weight to these little moments that you're insecure about or that you have like concerns about. It's called behavioral magnetics. You'll repeat the same behavior because it's familiar, not because it's good for you. And it'll happen over and over and over and over and over and over again because at such a young age it felt familiar. And that's a really deep lesson we can dive into called life scripts. But that's what it is. I promise you, if you look at this as your biggest asset going forward, I promise after this call, bro, you could have paid me 40 grand to tell you this advice and you'll make 10x the amount of money by just shifting your perspective of your age. There's no reason why I should be making you feel weaker, like you're smaller or bigger. That's in your control. This should always be in your frame, no matter what. It doesn't matter your age. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be closing. It doesn't matter. You know, you get a driver's license, bro. You turn 18, you drink a beer. Nothing's gonna change, bro. It's not. It's your character. I promise you. And you don't even look 16, man. For real, dude.
I've been studying. I've been studying like what you said about the metaphysical like woo woo stuff. Like I've studied that as well while I've been like learning, and I
For
feel
sure.
like what you say is correct as well, right? About like the perception of reality and that. So I feel like that's a big thing I'm gonna use moving forward. I used to like want to just like look at them as like little pussies, like crybabies needing help, guidance, but more so just like they're humans. I need to guide them. I need to help them. Just being neutral. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
a good perspective you can adopt at a young age, bro. Which I'm sure Tristan, I don't know if he knows it is intentionally or not, but he does it very well, especially when I met him in person the first time. It's seeing people's hurt first, right? In the nicest way, seeing their hurt first. And what I mean that is like, if you understand that we're all humans with fucking, and I'm not saying this like in a fucking blue hair, fucking weird way, but it's like we all have trauma, bad experiences, all these things, and we're hurt, all of us. Like, it's the truth. And so if you understand that, you'd understand that like when people are coming in resistant, it's coming from a place of pain, right? People are upset, a place of pain. Annoyed, frustrated. Why does it like every time like you get an argument with you're 16, I don't know if you got a girlfriend or not, but you get an argument with your girlfriend, you get an argument with your mom also.
That doesn't
Oh,
pass.
You know, you get angry,
Yeah.
and then like 30 minutes later, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was tired. It's always hurt. It's if you look at people's hurt first, you'll become such a better person by doing that. If I knew that at 16, bro, I would have been a millionaire by 20. Like genuinely. So like do
Yeah, the
that
goal
first.
is 18. Yeah, the goal is 18. I love it.
So
Appreciate that.
it's great stuff. But really, it's always great to see young guys like yourself doing this. So like really like amazing stuff on your side, bro. I
Yeah,
appreciate you even asking that.
good advice
But
as well. I thank you. Appreciate that.
Tristan, bro, that's toss to you, bro.
Yeah, dude. What I would say, I couldn't agree more. Like, similar emotional response that I would have with prospects like that.
Mhm.
And I was the perfectionist that was looking at every ounce of information that I could get on the prospect prior to me being on a Zoom call with them. So I'm looking at their Instagram, I'm looking at their
Mhm.
DM conversation, like I'm overanalyzing everything. And I remember, especially early on, I would be like, oh, this guy's going to show up this way. And it would cause anxiety for me, where I'm like, if I boiled it all the way down, I didn't believe that I was competent enough to challenge them. And it had a lot to do with my upbringing,
Mhm.
because the repeated phrase in my head, all the way up until I'd say probably like maybe 2, 3 years ago, I started to really get more of a grip on my internal dialogue. It was, I'm not good enough. That's what I would tell myself. Not prepared enough. I'm not good enough. I'm behind. I should be further. That wasn't done good enough, etc. But one thing that really helped me in conversations like that, especially early on, this is going to sound cliche, but I would have, man, performance anxiety. I would look at like 7 or 8 calls on my calendar. I'd be like, crap, dude, like this is going to
Yeah,
be a
I think
long
of the
day.
same way. I think the same way.
So what I started doing was, there's a healthy level of preparation that will give you confidence. So I'll give you 2 things. Number
Mhm.
one, learn the product that you sell, master it. Like whatever it is that you're providing to the client, you need to know that product better than the business owner knows the product. And most people won't teach you that. But when you are 100% confident that you know
Mhm.
how to solve every single one of their problems, and you're able to bring awareness to problems that the prospect has that they weren't even aware that they had prior to speaking with you,
Mhm.
that immediately raises your status in their mind. And with that type of prospect where it's like, hey, just get to the point, man. You're young. Like, you look like you could be my kid. Just get into it already. Don't give me the runaround. They're going to say that. I would say that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the only reason that they're saying that is because they don't like their time wasted. And somewhere, somehow, they learned that if they remained in control, they would be safe. Maybe they've been wronged by somebody. Maybe somebody took advantage of them. It's fine. It happens. It's life. But
Mhm.
your competence and your ability to communicate, articulate, solve their problems, identify their problems is
Yeah.
what will allow them to relax and feel secure in the conversation with you. Maybe they're not going to tell you about, the diary that they wrote whenever they were 16 years old, but you will have their respect and they will answer the questions that you ask them. So that's number one, master the product. You better be the smartest person on planet Earth to solve the problems that they're facing, because that's going to give you conviction, right? That's going to help whenever they try and throw you off of your process uh, to know that you can actually solve their problems. But the number two, this is something I started doing. I learned this from Tony Robbins. It's called the power pose. And so
Mhm.
what I would do in the morning, after I went through all my notes, after I prepared for all of my conversations, and I would take detailed notes, dude. I'm talking about, like, I had binders upon binders upon binders of just call notes. Hey,
Mhm.
this is the guy. This is his name. This is where he lives. This is his age. This is what he does for work. Like, I'm literally like autistic with this stuff. But after going through all of that, I'd have all my calls lined up. And 10 minutes before the first sales call, after the morning meeting, I would sit back in my seat. I had like this reclining chair and a
Mhm.
desk. And I would put my feet up on the desk and I would lean back and I'd put my hands behind my head and I would do 10 deep breaths. So I would inhale for 10 seconds, hold for 10 seconds, exhale for 10 seconds. And I would do that over and over and over and over again. And all of a sudden, all that noise that I had in my head, all that anxiety that I felt in my chest, in my throat, all the nervousness would completely leave. And I just let them in. I'd let it say their name is join the waiting room, and I'd let them in. And all of that fear was gone, and I could just focus on the person, and I'd just start listening to what they're telling me. And all of you'll get into a flow state with your calls where it's like, I mean, and everyone who's closed at a high level knows this feeling where it's like, put the lead in front of me right here, right now. I will close anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they know the business owner. I don't care if they just found us yesterday. Like, I'm going to close this person. Like, that level of confidence. It allowed me to get into a flow state. And then it was just meeting after meeting after meeting of just doing the same thing every single time. But that confidence in who you are and your skill will come with time. You're 16. If I had gotten into this industry at 16, I probably wouldn't be sitting on this call with you guys right now. I'd probably be in some boat somewhere,
Yeah.
retired by now. So kudos to you, and I wish you all the success. Put God first and trust the process, and you'll accomplish every goal that you have.
I appreciate that. That's actually very good advice. I appreciate you, JJ, Tristan. I hope to see y'all boys again soon. Tristan, I might piff the program soon. Saving up. But yeah,
Come see him in Salt Lake. Also, you better
yeah,
perform. You better be successful. You share my name. Come on, bro. Lock in.
got you, bro. Salt Lake coming soon.
All right, let's go. Let's go, Hakeem, bro. Hakeem's a great friend of ours in the community. Did you have a question or any feedback for these guys?
No, I mean I had a question, I forgot it, but I got a new question now. Tristan, JJ, what's up? It's nice to meet you guys. So my question is simply, when I was a sales manager back in January, whenever I would hire or interview people, whether they were good, not good, whether I liked them or not, I would always tell them, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks to test if they would handle my objection. Am I a dick for that though? That's the thing I want to know.
Dude, not at all. Not at all. And dude, one thing that I think is hilarious is like as an example, like I'll have reps that have closed on offers that come to me and they're like, hey dude, offer collapsed or etc. Like, you guys know the story. I need a new role. And I will put them in a group chat with a business owner or with a sales manager, and they don't even respond. They don't even initiate. They don't even drop the loom. They don't do anything. And I'm like, dude, where did you learn this entitlement from? I had one guy today, this is a side tangent, where the business owner reaches out to the rep in Slack in front of the entire team, and he says something to the effect of like, this guy is having cold feet in the text conversation because the CEO sends selfie videos to every single lead on the counter. I don't care if there are 50 calls on the counter. Like, this guy is this much of a leader and this strong of an operator that he sets aside time every single day to record selfie videos. No AI. He's probably wasting time. Like, I know AI could solve that, snap of a finger, but he does it. He's kind of like old school. Anyway, he said something like, hey, this lead's getting cold feet. Why don't you, the closer, reach out to them, calm them down, and get them on a call? Like, if I would have ever heard that from a business owner, I'm like, dude, immediately, yes, sir. On it now. You got it. Done. This guy goes, nah, NAH, nah. He canceled. That's all he said. I'm like, dude, where are these guys getting this entitlement from? Like, where did you learn this stuff? Like, for you to be so privileged and entitled in your own mind to think that you can just talk however you want to talk to whoever you want to talk to. I'm like, this is what's wrong with this space. So the business owner put me in a group chat and he said, fire this guy right now. And I'm like, dude, I would do the same thing. These guys are retarded, the way they act. But no, I have all the fun that you want with reps. Give them as much friction as possible. The people who actually want it will figure it out.
100%. I agree. All right, thank you for that. All right. If it is good, what's up?
I'll add to it. Funny enough, I was debating on if I was going to say the company's name, but some of you guys might know the company, and I won't say it, but they do probably close to like 8 million a month or so big sales agency. You guys can make the assumptions. And I at one point I sourced like probably like 30-40% of their reps, right, a few years back. And I only know this because I would see the progression, right? Intentionally, they would get to the third round of the interview and they would not answer intentionally. And then I'm not even exaggerating. What we started to notice is like once they got to that stage, everyone who followed up, regardless of the skill level, like they could have been beginners or they could have been like veterans, they still got the role. Because he wanted to test the. But that was never spoken or communicated. But it was literally just like we figured it out in between. It's like follow up, dude. Just make sure you do that. And some people did it like 6-7 times. Like I'm not even exaggerating. But they would land interviews and they would land the roles and they would do it. And it was a big agency too. I mean, I think at the time they were over hiring, in my opinion, but whatever. But it's that's fucking sales if you really think about it. Like it's like let's just see who's persistent and who's not, and that goes back to what I said earlier. I don't know if you're here for it. It's like there's strengths that you need and weaknesses you're willing to tolerate, and that's not a weakness you're willing to tolerate. Is like lack of persistence, then that just means like that's an easy way to just disqualify people. So it's actually genius if you think about it. Like there's honestly, to be honest, again, it's all subjective, and I'm not saying that like I'm like my biggest thing when I hire a rep is like honesty and integrity. So I think as long as you're honest and you're holding integrity, like amazing. But it's subjective to like what is right or what is like. I have you guys probably know Daniel Isles at Viracoach, which is like $5 million a month. When I was a sales director for him, commissions were like a little different, but like now it's like until you make 300 grand in cash collected, you're getting only 3%, and then it goes up to like 10, right? And so like some would argue that's kind of fucked, but it's like it's not in my eyes like hey he's really incentivizing the right behaviors. If you really think about it, doing 5 million a month, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get to 300K in cash collected if you're a decently strong closer. So to me it's like how fast are you going to get to 300 grand, so it's subjective. It is subjective. I don't think that's fucked up. If you think it's fucked up, then I would say don't do it. Like right, if that's in your mind, you're like, oh, I feel wrong in my gut, then like cool, don't do it. That's fine. But I think that's genuinely just sales, and what strengths and weaknesses you're looking for, Hakeem. So it's a good thing.
100%. Well, thank you guys for the reassurance. God bless you both, and I'll see you guys in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Peace.
See you, brother. All right, let's go
Peace.
Tyler, and then we'll leave best for last Tyrese, and then we'll go from there.
Nice to meet you guys, by the way. I just want to be really quickly. I know you guys speak a lot about limiting beliefs. I know a lot of people, and especially my hometown, struggle with that. How did you guys like manage getting over limiting beliefs, and like what was like the shift for you?
Dude, I love this question. I've kind of referenced this a couple times. Anyone that you see online or anyone that you admire who tries to present themselves as though they don't have the same limiting beliefs that you're experiencing right now is lying to you. I'll give you an example. With all the performance anxiety and just anxiety in general, like, dude, super anxious person. Like, could not go to any kind of like social events. Didn't know how to communicate, would like stumble and fumble over my words. I would just tell myself like I'm dyslexic, which I am. But I would just like use that, and I'd say like I'm an introvert, all these things, to avoid discomfort. It was like my doorway out. And I mean, I did this all the time. Like I would say, the reason that I'm fat is because God gave me a slow metabolism. Like you become very resourceful. Like we all have the same level of resourcefulness. God gave it to you. You hear stories about people who are like out in the middle of the woods or out in, like the Grand Canyon, and something happens. Like maybe you step on a bear trap. Who knows? But you hear stories like people cutting their own legs off, cutting their own arms off. Like, could you imagine doing that? It's inside of you. Everyone has it. You're no different than them. But we use it to find excuses and reasons why we don't have to do the thing, or why it's better off that someone else takes a step for us. But I say that because every single time that I've got up to my own glass ceiling of whatever it is, whether it's like speaking on a stage, running a sales meeting for a new team that has 45 employees who have no idea who the heck I am. Stepping into a leadership role immediately because the company's revenue is tanked and they're all eyes are on me like, hey, what's this young guy have to say about the business and what we need to do? People who have been closing deals for decades on those teams. I have the same internal state: nerves, anxiety, doubt. I have all those things all the time. And it will materialize itself in different ways. But what I've realized is through me acting and moving forward, in spite of whatever I'm feeling, the writing on the wall starts to disprove the thoughts in my head and the emotions that I'm experiencing. Because I'm going to feel the exact same way every single time, like going up on stage in front of 20, 30, 50, 100 people. Like it's uncomfortable because there's no perfect way to do it. And sometimes you'll forget things, etc. But whenever you act anyway, you start to build that confidence where you can still move forward regardless of what the thoughts say. And that's what changed the game for me. And it took me a while to realize that because I thought like I had to feel a certain way, like comfortable or reassured or confident before I acted. But that's only because I bought into the lie of some narcissistic a-hole who lied to me and made it appear as though they were more competent, more prepared, more confident in themselves than they actually are. A lot of the times people are just actors and some people can pretend better than others. But the quicker you just move on what you want and you're relentless in your action and you don't allow things to get in the way, especially yourself, the more you'll start to believe that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I'll be real with you right now. Man, when I was talking, I was nervous as shit. Like my heart is bumping. I'll be honest, like I'm just not that type of person. Like, I feel like I'm very confident, but I'm also that person that's like shit. I try to mask it. And I feel like that helps me a lot because I've been struggling a lot with like making content. I really want to inspire, I really want to help people. I feel like like it's a big one of my passions. And I know you have a twin brother, and I've been in high ticket sales for just now 9 months, coming up on 10. Actually, no, coming up on 10. And I just got my twin brother into high ticket sales. In his first month, he's already made like $700. Some slight, but it just brings a lot of joy for me. So I actually want to inspire, but I feel like my biggest roadblock is just like posting that content. But I like what you said is just like, just do it. Just do it, and then the more times you get I guess uncomfortable with the uncomfort, like the more times you just become confident. Is that what you meant by that? You just by doing it? Oh yeah. No, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I want to hear from you, JJ, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, it's so good, and I have a similar response. But I'll share a perspective. This is from Carl Jung, which is like, until you turn the unconscious conscious, you're going to call it fate, and it will run your life. Right? When you think of that, it's a lot of what Tristan was saying is he was exposing these unconscious thoughts that he was just like accepting and thinking and believing until he turned them conscious, right? Where he's like, I'm choosing to believe this. I'm choosing to make this a belief so that I can feel more comfortable with this feeling, that feeling. And so, for me, like last year, right, I'm kind of similar to you, Tyler, where like, I mean, I have like this huge reputation, but I didn't really post much content, right? And I'm not saying this to hype myself. I'm saying this just transparently. In October, I went to Hermosi and I bragged to him and I was like, dude, I did 6 figures every month. I've done $1 million last year. And I was like, we had $196,000 day. And I would brag about all this shit. And I was like, I only made 30 videos and I did no ads. It was heavily on referrals. And he's like, dude, that's amazing, bro. He's like, to be honest, it's really good. You have like no following. That's amazing. But how much more money would you have made if you did start posting content? Right? He's like, isn't your whole thing impact? Right? You want to impact people's lives, change lives. How many more lives would you have impacted if you would have posted the content? And I was like, man, I wanted to be like, fuck you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's so true. It was so true. And it's like, and it's really, really true what Tristan said about the behaviors, right? There's 4 ways to influence people, right? You got to think about it. It's the most surface level is your thoughts. Like you think you want to do these things and that's cool. Or even some of the things that we're saying right now, it's in one ear, out the other. And it's like, oh, I never thought about it. Tristan's so right. Cool. what's going on Instagram. You move on, right? It's very, very short, like very just like in and out. Then you have your feelings. It's in reverse order from like least impactful to most impactful, right? Your feelings, which is why you get somebody to be like, yeah, I'm going to do this, man. Send me the link. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go to the bank and then I'm going to pay for it. And they leave and they don't pay because those emotions are temporary, right? And so like feelings, like they might feel like they wanted to do this thing, but when they leave, it can go away, it can drop. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to do this shit. Fuck that. You know what I could do at $5,000? I could fucking buy fucking 1,000 fucking donuts, like whatever. Like it's something random, but that's their thing, right? It's like, okay, cool. Like feelings are temporary. I'm not going to do that right now. It can go in and go out because they could have wanted to do it and it leaves, right? So you might feel like you want to make content. You might, I'm inspired, right? You wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to fucking work out. I'm going to do all these things. And then it goes away the next day, right? But then you have your behaviors, which is the second most powerful, right? So if your behaviors shift, regardless of how you feel, like what Tristan said, you will see inevitably when people say like you need to become or like whatever be do become whatever do be become whatever the fuck the saying is, but it's true because you start doing the behaviors, you start asserting that identity and becoming that person, then you will become that person regardless. It's so true. Like it is so fucking true. And so if you do the behaviors, it's epigenetics. You can literally shift the way that you were wired through the actions that you're taking, right? And then at the lowest level or well, highest is your impulses. And this one's hard to explain. It's like a little masterclass in itself. But like after this call or in between your sales calls, do you have the impulse to jump to Slack or do you jump to Instagram? Do you jump to Twitter? Like what is your impulse reaction? What do you do? And if you can fix those impulses, so it's funny, there's an app called Brain Rot. I always use as an example. It's literally called Brain Rot, where I've tried so many different things to block Instagram in my life. Like I tried the brick, I tried deleting the app, I tried getting a second phone. Brain rot changes the way that you're wired, no exaggeration. And so it'll show a picture of your brain rotting and be like, are you sure you want to go back on Instagram? And it'll stop your behaviors completely. And your impulse reaction to go to Instagram, it'll show that and it'll change your behaviors. It's the best thing ever, literally the best way I've seen like to get away from like being on social media. But like that's what we need to do is change our impulses, change our behaviors to then become the person you want to be. It's that simple. Like it's like literally the fastest way. It's we're humans of pattern recognition, right? And the more we see this redundant cycle, we will, become, be, and do that. So that's the simplest way I can tell you. So to kind of shine light on you in the whole content thing, I guarantee you, Tyler, with every ounce of your heart and your soul, you probably want to make content. You do. I guarantee it. And now again, I'm gonna get a little meta here too, and I'm not a fucking doctor, but it's probably more of like an ADHD dopamine deficiency thing where like you're easily distracted by other things, but also it's whenever there's resistance to do something that might feel like it's hard to like for me to like move this and set up this, or my setup isn't the best way I want to, and you're thinking of all these like perfect little things, like it's really not that serious, right? But if you can create an environment, like I'm not even joking, I bought this office so that I can have a camera here that I can just sit down, record content and go, not because it needs to be perfect, but for lower resistance. Because I would record in my office, I'd have to move this big ass fucking computer and do all these fucking things. So if you can make it automatic, where like I'm going to turn on the camera and talk about cool shit, and then you start to do that. And then the right people will start. I guarantee you, Tristan, he didn't have a fucking content strategist his first time he posted videos. He was just posting shit that this is going to resonate with somebody. And the right people came and he started making money, right? You're not going to attract everybody, but start just posting shit that you want to post out there, dude. 100%. And the right people will come, the wrong people won't. And that's okay. All right. So it's like, cool, just do that. Just break the muscle in. And that's coming from somebody who struggled with it their whole entire time. But I'm literally going to record right after this and just go and go and go because I need to. Right? If my identity truly is about making impact and that's what I really want to do, I'm not living up to that without posting the content. And that's the truth. So it's like if you really understand what you're pulled by and what you want to accomplish, like for me, it's at a point where like I've done the 6 figures a month, I've changed lives, I've gotten guys from broke home. Literally, I had a guy in my community sleeping under a fucking bridge, no exaggeration, literally, to like making 8, 10, 20, 30, 50K a month. And closer to doing 70K a month, whatever. It's like it's real, and I know that, but it's just like the money is never enough. Tristan will tell you the money's never enough. You're gonna get to 500K, 600. You're like, okay, it's another number in the bank account. But sometimes like the impact, it's like how many lives do I have to change in order for it to feel impactful? But when you can start to see it compound things like this, somebody's gonna walk away from here Like maybe Zab's gonna walk in and be like, I started closing more deals. I looked at my calls differently. I looked at my frame differently. I looked at my age differently. You might walk away from here and start posting content. And that's something where like if like in 2 years, 3 years, that changes your life for whatever reason from the feedback Tristan gave you or I gave you, then amazing. Like it's not something that's gonna like fulfill me in a way where I'm like, oh my God, it changed my life. But it's like, I know that's what I was made to do and built to do and here to do. And that's what's going to happen inevitably. Right. And so if you want to do that with other people, what are you pulled by versus what are you pushed by? You're pushed by money, you're pulled by impact. And if you really want to lean into that, do it. Do it, like really do it, but understand what that vision is, right? Tristan said it very subtly earlier. He felt like he was placed by God here in order to help people from the bottom to get them to the top. That's what he's here to do. That's his vision every day. That's what wakes him up every single day and makes him post content every day, even when he doesn't fucking want to, and think about different ideas and show up. And I remember we had a call fucking like back in December where he's like, I can tell he was tired and it was a long day, but he was here. We had a fucking 2 hour great conversation, amazing conversation. And then he went back the next day, probably did it again, did it again, and did it again. He's still here. That's the difference. And so if you're pulled by that, truly, I'm talking to myself as well here, Tyler, genuinely. If I'm truly pulled by that, why the fuck am I not posting content either? How much impact am I really making right now? Just limiting myself. So, sorry, man, I got a little like deep there, but being very transparent, dude. I'm just trying to be honest. I think like you it seems like you care about this. I can see from the way you asked your question. So it's like, don't make the same mistake I did where I waited. Like, I'm like, I would be like, I don't want to be a fucking guru. I'm not going to fucking post content. But Tristan is not a guru. Like the way he posts content is true, genuine fucking sales advice where he's trying to get you better. And he's actually good at what he does. That's true. Right. And the fact that we're both sales coaches, we both probably have similar ICPs, we both work for similar people, but we're not here fucking fighting over the ego and who's better, who's not, who's this, who's that. At the end of the day, there's no competition at the end of the day. I literally don't believe in it. The fucking thing, I think I look at like Eli Wild. I've worked with Eli Wild and stuff. I have other mentors in sales too who have worked with Chase Hughes. And you think I'm gonna look at them like, oh, my competition? No, it's like, dude, like there's so much to go around. If I can help someone, if people are doing right by the space, Tristan does right by the space, and if somebody goes with him or goes with me, I'm happy by that. That's fine. And if someone goes with you, Tyler, because you're gonna make impact as well, because maybe they resonate with you more, amazing. Amazing. That's where you guys will win. And I'm sure somebody else here in the crowd might listen to it too. Like what makes Tristan win is his authenticity. So don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to be Tristan. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be Bruno. Don't try to be fucking anyone. Be you. And I promise you the right people will come when they need to. I mean it. So
Yeah.
I better see
Nah,
a
thank
fucking video.
nah, for sure, bro. I'm gonna try to record one and tag both of you guys. And no, I completely agree because I'm obviously in sales, but I watch Tristan's content and I'm just like, bro, come on. This guy's just so authentic. Like, and I've literally seen him change one of my friends' lives, Jaw or Jay. I've literally seen it firsthand, Jaw going from 1,000 a month to like fucking 15 or 20. And I'm just like he's just authentic. He's genuine. I love your content, bro. Deadass. No, I'm not trying to be glazing, but I am trying to glaze. And JJ, I mean, it's great meeting you. I hope to see you guys in Harvest as well in Utah. But yeah, thank you so much for the insight. I appreciate it a lot.
Appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you. All right, final question of the night, guys. These guys got to go get some stuff done. We appreciate them so much. W's in the chat for Tristan and JJ. But before they go, Tyrese, he's also a great friend of ours here in the community. He's got an amazing story. I'm sure he can tell it sometime to you guys. But did you have a question for either of them or both of them?
Yeah, bro. I just had a quick question. I've been in, well, first and foremost, nice to meet both of y'all. God bless you, Tristan and JJ. As I've been in sales, my desire to, retire my mom, my desire to be financially free has increased, especially seeing what God has did in everybody else's life. And ultimately, I know that as your desire increases, your sacrifice must also increase as well. So my question to you is, many people desire greater success, greater income, greater impact, but not everybody is willing to make sacrifices those things require. So what have your journeys taught you about the connection between desire and sacrifice? And how can someone tell if the very thing that they're holding on to is what's keeping them from going on to that next level and being that best version of themselves?
I can say this. I never got into sales for money, and that sounds so like cliche, but I got into sales because I knew that God had blessed me with a gift where I cared a tremendous amount about people and I know how to communicate well. I'd say above average. And the funny thing is, I actually had my aptitudes tested whenever I got out of middle school into high school. If anyone doesn't know what an aptitude test is, it's like the most thorough examination of like who you are and how God designed you as a human being. Because contrary to popular belief, every single person on this call, is 51 people on this call. Every single one of you is completely different than the next person. That's not just genetically, like you're designed differently. And they just told me like what I left that aptitude test thinking was I'm going to be a failure, and I'll explain why. Like I couldn't really do most of the things they were asking me to do. Like they gave me this like it was like a square block that you could pull apart, and like if you had the gift of being an engineer, as an example, like you could just pull that apart, not even think, and put it back together, no thought in your mind, easily. I'm looking at that thing like it's like building a car from scratch, like totally confused. I had no idea how to do it, how to put it together, etc. It was frustrating for me. The things that I left that aptitude test knowing was I had extraordinary grip strength for my age, and that I could be a broadcaster because I knew how to like articulate myself and communicate. And as I was walking into that building, I was like, man, they're going to tell me I could be like a pilot, or maybe I could go work for NASA or something like that. Like all these like lofty expectations. And I left thinking, like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I don't want to be a broadcaster. But I just realized that I was a good listener, and I love people, and I love helping people. And I have very strong leadership skills. And I think I learned leadership at a young age because I didn't really have a choice. Like someone had to step up, and I'm the older brother as well. But when I got into sales and I realized the amount of money that I could make, it wasn't about like, let me learn this stuff so that I can make so much money. It was like, this is the lane that I'm sticking in long term. And I'm going to treat people the right way. I'm not going to cut corners. And I'm going to put other people ahead of myself. And I'm going to do things the right way. And the byproduct of that was money. And it's created all the freedom that everybody talks about. I don't think there will ever be a point in time where I retire, like everyone talks about, that you hear on the calls. Like, I want to just retire and go and travel and all this stuff. Like, I think I will always be working in some capacity with people and leading people and helping people, because that's what I feel God has put me on earth to do. And I want to be known as a man who treated people the right way and was selfless and gave. And I think that the Bible clearly defines like the greatest gift being willing to lay down your own desires for someone else. The Bible says that Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. And I'm not perfect, nobody is, but as long as you're putting other people ahead of yourself and you're genuinely doing that, not just for what you can get, ultimately, God's my provider. And I can rest easy at night knowing that my bills will always be paid and the people that I care about most are going to be taken care of. And I will do my part, but everything else is in His hands. That's for your parents' cars, that's for your car, that's for whatever. All the goals that you have, like God's your provider ultimately. And when you think that you're in control and everything that you do, like mechanically controls the outcomes of every single situation, that's where you're your own God. And I've learned it the hard way. It doesn't work out well.
Yeah, Tyrese, I'll add that. I think a big concept that I learned in my life, and I honestly I say this all the time. I don't even know if it's real, but it's the difference between thought concept and felt concept. Where like you try to think your way through everything and you try to do it analytically, almost like the opposite of the way we make decisions, where it's like I'm gonna logically figure this out. And yes, there's like okay, of course you can do like a cost benefit analysis, sure. For when it comes to like what you need to sacrifice, what you need to keep, what you need to do, what you don't need to do. But if we just focused on what felt right intuitively and what was most aligned with us, truthfully, we find our answers a lot more clearly than what we think. And so, like, if you're on an offer and you're like, oh, I think it's good. I think it's this. I think it's that. Versus like how you actually feel, and you try to ignore that. 9 times out of 10, that thing that you're ignoring is typically the answer, right? Or like you feel more pulled or inclined to do something. I'll give you a really good example, right? It's like I'm not even exaggerating. Like when I started to go to church, it was a random Sunday, and I told my wife, and I was like, I think we should go to church. I think we should. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And it just like this internal like divine feeling where I was like, I think we should. Or like on my teams, like I have our own teams, and like there's this, you know, you have this gut feeling you bring on a high, or like, oh, they're gonna fucking do it. Or like, no, they're not. They're not. And you try to go against it, and like 9 times out of 10, your gut was right. And like that's a big thing I think we ignore a lot, a lot. And so when I thought about what I needed to sacrifice or not sacrifice, it goes back to thought versus felt concept. I'm not even joking. This place here today that I moved in, I didn't move in here, but it's an office. We had a different space on a different floor, and I paid everything. And I was like, I'm not living here, or I'm not gonna have this office here. I want a different one. And we changed everything the same day. And I could walk in here every time and feel like, holy cow. And mind you, that's the difference. I did sacrifice more to be here. I paid more money to get into here. I sacrificed more to get in here versus the other place. But I know I would show up here every single day, and I'd feel this fucking good pull of energy versus in the other place. It felt like a fucking dungeon. You know, it was nice, but it still felt like a dungeon for some reason. And that's the difference. And I think if you can lean into that stuff for a while, if you can lean into that very quickly, Tyrese, and over time, like after a while, your intuition will start to build, and you'll start to realize like, you know, and essentially this is just you just over time getting clear with your values, right? Like I think Tristan understands his values very, very well at a very high level. And so every decision he does make is always going to be in his best interest, which is always going to be the case, but he knows exactly what it's going to be that's going to take him to where he wants to be because it's aligned with his values. And so the better you can get at that, the more clear that can become to you, then you'll see how like the thought concept versus felt concept will become a lot more clear. Right, because you know exactly what feels really good for you one day. I guarantee if I ask you which is the best day ever for you, Tyrese, probably 40% of your days look like the best day ever. When you have, and obviously, unless like your best day ever is like going to fucking, I don't know, like Uganda or something, like some random place in like another country or something, and you want to go there every week or something. Of course, it might not be possible, but it's like when you think about like what it is that actually pulls better energy out of you, what makes you feel good, versus what you need to sacrifice. You might even be doing something you think is good for you, but internally it's like, I don't even think this aligns to me anymore, right? It's like some of those things you need to let go. So it's like if you can focus on that, Tyrese, and not just like think your way through all this shit, but focus on how you feel, it gets you a lot further. Promise you.
Yeah, but I absolutely agree with everything that both of you said. You know, I come from a place where I'm a very introspective person. I think a lot about the things that go throughout my head. Maybe sometimes it's up to my own demise because I think too much about everything. And sales has definitely taught me how to, you know, internalize myself a lot more. But with that being said, I do appreciate your time. And I just want to let everybody in the audience know, let Tristan know, let JJ know, let Bruno know that I believe in all of you, and the creator of the universe loves you, cares for you, and wants a relationship with you. And God bless y'all, and go in peace.
Appreciate you, Tyrese. Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry if you hear my daughter in the background. She's very active right now, but I wanted to just be the first to say thank you to Tristan and JJ for taking the time. 2 hours of complete sauce value. There was no script. There was no teleprompter in front of them. You can see it on JJ's window reflection. Like this was not pre-programmed. These guys responded to you guys honestly, genuinely, authentically. This is just their opinion on things, and it's made them very successful. My hope is you guys can develop your own opinions, and you guys can really build on your story through the insight that these guys gave you tonight. And for those who actually stayed the entire time, thank you. I know you'll be very blessed by that if you take action. And for those who joined us late, you have access to the recording. We'll send it to you. I wanted to end off by just asking Tristan and JJ, is there any way for us to, not that you need it, but is there any way for us to support you here in 26? What are you focusing on? What are you working on next? What should we know before we all enjoy the rest of the night?
Well, I guess in the short term, I'll see everybody in Utah at the Cultivate event. I'll be there with Tristan, so that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Tristan, what about you?
No,
Oh yeah.
no, dude. I think I couldn't. If I could like grab myself and like shake myself 3 or 4 years ago, I would implore you guys, whether you're hoping to get on an offer or you're on an offer, to document your journey and stop thinking. Just act. I would be talking about goals, aspirations, achievements, and I would not self-sabotage in the form of imposter syndrome and saying that due to the fact that you haven't been doing it long enough, your voice doesn't matter. That's not true. But trust the process, document the process, and that will open doors for you. And social media has changed my life. It's given me opportunities like this. And if you're the right type of person, God will use you in this space. The space needs people who have integrity, that do things the right way, that have the right intentions. And I think that's one main thing that separates guys like JJ and myself and Bruno is our humility and our rawness and realness and just strong leadership. Like I would never ask anybody to do something that I wouldn't wholeheartedly do myself. And have fun, dude. Have fun. A lot of us are young. There's no reason to be stressed out in your life. I don't care if you got no money in your bank account, you're young. Take risks and enjoy the process because it goes very fast.
And we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you so much. Everyone, W's in the chat for Tristan and JJ. If you want them to come back, I need to see W's just like literally nonstop. Everybody, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. JJ, Tristan, we'll talk soon. Let's bring these guys back very, very soon as we grow this community. It's all thanks to you guys. Here you go. Peace.